can no longer wait for Washington to act. The inadequate water flows have disrupted the bay's ecosystem, and that has resulted in economic collapse for the people in that Apalachicola Bay region. Recognizing this, the governor and the attorney general filed suit last year on behalf of the state against Georgia to remedy the destruction of Apalachicola Bay and the communities that depend on it. This month, the United States Supreme Court saw enough merit in that case to take it up. It's my hope that the U.S. Supreme Court rules in favor of the state of Florida and will help us restore a true natural treasure and end the economic hardship for the good people of Florida's Panhandle.
Thank you, Commissioner Putnam. For Commissioner Spotlight, I'm Franco Galasso.
Thanks, Franco. In other news, USDA's National Ag Statistics Service is going to be surveying farmland owners to measure financial impacts and challenges of land ownership. Landowners should have the forms by the end of the month. More than 80,000 farmland owners and producers across the U.S. will receive these forms. They're tiled tenure, ownership, and transition of ag land, or total. Jay Johnson, director of NASS Census and Survey Division, said the latest census of ag helped determine more than 350 million acres of farmland in the U.S. are rendered or leased, but it has been more than a decade since they spoke to individuals who own that land. The results of this survey will be published in August. Randall Wiseman, Southeast AgNet.
We all know the importance of good health, but we may not know the latest advances in medicine that are available to us. Monday at 9 a.m., Bern Paraiso will be our roving medical reporter to tell us about Seven Hill Gastroenterology PA and Dr. Reddy. We'll discuss screening, techniques, and more. So tune in and listen. This is more than news you can use. It's news that could save your life. That's Monday at 9:05 a.m. Real estate is the largest and most personal investment that any of us will ever make. Be sure to tune in Tuesdays at 10 a.m. when Bob Kennedy, owner of Berkshire Hathaway Home Team Realty, will be answering your questions and discussing real estate. So remember, that's Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Call 622-9622 with your questions. It pays to be an informed buyer or seller. This is news you can use from Berkshire Hathaway Home Team Realty and your friends here at WOCA.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala. Auto repair with personal care. We know what we're talking about. Matt Gibbs and the guys over at Sunrise Automotive will treat you right. Will treat you right.
Yeah, they will treat you right. 6 minutes after 10 o'clock, Matt Gibbs is here to answer your questions about your cars, and this is the last show of 2014.
Oh, my.
The phone number here is 622-9622. If you would like a new car, you can also, well, a new used car. Matt does have a car lot as well called Crossroad Auto Sales, and his garage is called Sunrise Automotive. So. Do you know what I realized the other day, by the way?
No.
I never knew this before. My son is in New York right now, and I took him to New York when he was little, and I took him. One of the places was to St. Patrick's Cathedral, and sometimes, you know, I know you believe in God, and sometimes you walk into a church and you just feel like God is there. It's hard to explain why. Well, that happened to me in St. Patrick's. And I was wondering if he's going to go there. So I saw where he was. He was at some diner, and I said, I wonder how far he is from the cathedral. So I Googled it because I don't know it by heart. I never saw St. Patrick's Cathedral from the Google Sky View before. It is built in the shape of a cross.
I didn't know this.
I never knew that either. You can't tell it from the ground. But from God's point of view, that's a cross.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
That's cool.
What does your building look like from the sky?
From the sky?
Yeah. Have you ever looked at it?
It looks just like a long thing. It looks like an eye. It's a half a cross.
Like a hyphen. So how was your Christmas?
It was really good.
Anything? Did you have family visiting you? Or did you?
We had a large day. Christmas.
A large day.
A large day.
What does that mean? Did you go anywhere?
No, we had all my 6 children, their husbands, because only my daughters are married, and my 2 grandbabies. They came over for Christmas breakfast.
Ah, okay.
So we cooked breakfast in the morning, and then they left and went to see other family and whatnot, and then at 4:00 in the afternoon, we had Christmas dinner with a bunch of friends and people from the church and stuff came over. So we were busy.
Did you eat a lot of the wrong food?
Yes. Actually, I had, I don't know if you remember Tommy's Barbecue here in town.
Yes, I do.
Well,
I do.
He came into the shop last week. And,
My sister used to work for him.
oh, really?
Yeah.
And he came into the shop the other day, and this is last week, and his car needed some attention, so we worked on his car, and I'm like, man, I said, I sure could use some of them green beans and macaroni and cheese and turkey, and so he cooked our Christmas dinner for us.
Oh wow, that was nice. So I got a car related gift.
You did?
From Doug.
Oh.
From Doug, I got a steering wheel cover, and it really makes a difference.
Yeah, especially when you got like metal.
Do you remember what mine looked like?
Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
Now it looks good, feels good.
Yeah.
It feels like I'm driving a new car. It even has that new car smell. So I don't know, whatever it's made out of, I can still smell that new car smell.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, my car doesn't look like a new car, but
Well, last Monday after the show, Joe gave me one of those CDs that you guys made,
oh yeah.
and so I listened to it.
Oh, did you? Did you have a good time?
Yeah.
Did you dance on any of those songs?
No, I didn't dance. I was driving. And
Well, I've seen you drive in a car.
yeah,
In my car.
I could dance the car.
You were dancing across the lanes, pretty wild.
But that was when you said Doug. That's what made me think. That was
Oh.
probably one of my favorite parts of that CD. Was
Yes.
when Doug read the Christmas story
From
I
Luke.
thought that was really
The
cool.
Book of Luke, yeah. That took some working to do that, but he pulled it off.
He did. He did. It was awesome.
Oh, I'm glad you like that. Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite parts too. You never know what you're going to do that's going to resonate for years to come.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So any new cars on your car lot? Let's talk about new cars.
Let's see.
Highlight a car. Bring a car to the stage.
We got a 04 Acura 3.5 RL that is absolutely magnificent.
How much?
I think it's $89.95.
Really?
Yeah, nice car. Navigation, sunroof, all leathered up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Does the air conditioner work?
Oh, absolutely. And I just got in a 03 Ford Expedition. That's actually going to detail today. So we got it all fixed up.
Nice. And you have a phone call. By the way, phone calls are a part of the show, so don't feel shy about calling. The number is 622-9622. Good morning. You're on the air with Matt.
Okay, good morning, guys.
Morning.
Say, my wife's got a 2012 Nissan Rogue, and I don't drive it very often, once in a while, but over the holiday, we went down to Orlando to visit some family for Christmas, and I drove down there back, and I noticed when I'm braking, I don't come to a smooth stop. It's kind of a slight jerk stop. You know what I mean?
Right.
What, the rotor's out of balance or something, or brake shoes, or what's going on there?
Yeah, it sounds like your front rotors need to be turned. How many miles are on that?
Just 25.
Huh.
25 miles?
25,000, yeah, that's...
1,000.
I was going to say, if it was under 12, you could have taken it back to the dealer, and they would cover that. They would cover that under warranty.
But I don't think that's covered now. Huh?
No. I think that they only do that for 1 year, 12,000 miles. But the front brakes probably need to be turned. The rotors need to be turned, and that'll fix you up.
What kind of an expense would that be about? Would you say?
Probably around $90.
Oh, okay. Now it would be nothing with the back, just the front.
Yeah, it would more than it's 90% of the time it comes from the front.
Yeah. How do they get out around like that?
Well, if your brakes are getting hot and it rains and you go through a puddle, and they're cooled quickly, that can do it. If someone drives and they're heavy on the brake, if they ride the brake a lot and really heat them things up, that'll cause it to do it. But also, at 25,000 miles, if I would look at them, and if the brake pads are, if they're more than halfway worn, I'd go ahead and put new front pads on there too, because otherwise you're going to turn the rotors, put the old pads on there, and then in 10,000 miles you need to do it all over again. So just do it once and be done with it.
Yeah, I suppose they should. Somebody who does the job should look at the back end too, right?
Oh yeah, have all your brakes checked anytime you do brake work. Make sure you check the rears or the fronts, or depending on whatever you're doing. But typically, a car will go through 2 sets of front brake pads to 1 set of rear brake pads.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, okay. There's probably no really danger. It's basically city driving. It's her work car, but there's no really danger driving it till I get it set up to take it in about a week or two after the holidays.
Yeah, that would be fine. You'd be okay.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you know, when he was asking how much it would cost, that's probably one of the constant questions you get. And I want to tell you something that I was reminded of when I heard him ask it. I used to know a lady who was a newspaper delivery lady, and she had a Pinto, believe it or not. That's how long ago this was. And she had a part of her money. She didn't make much money delivering newspapers, not really. But she took a part of her money and always put it into this jar for her auto repairs. And her reasoning was, because my car is my living. I have to have the money there if it needs to be fixed. As we approach the tax refund time, to me, that would be a better thing to do with your money, is you get your car looked at and worked over, or maybe buying a new one, I guess. But I mean, one or the other, rather than buying a new TV or a new whatever. I mean, a lot of people look at that income tax money as, just throwing it out the window.
Right, and be honest with you, we have a lot of people that will come in when they get their income tax money and use that to do like an annual.
Just get it all fixed up.
Yeah, just because they have the money available, and then we also have a lot of people that will use their income tax money to put the down payment on another car or whatever.
Car. Yeah. All right, we got to take a little break for the weather, etc., and we'll be right back. This is WOCA.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. A warm day today with some sunshine followed by increasing clouds, high 79 to 83. It'll be mostly cloudy and mild tonight, though 63 to 67. Mostly cloudy tomorrow with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, especially in the afternoon, high 75 to 79. On Wednesday, variable cloudiness, high 72 to 76. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
The Ocala Civic Theater presents Sleuth. The mystery is in the wits of the two young rivals that battle each other to commit the perfect crime. Predator becomes prey, and this diabolical thriller blends danger and dark humor. The tension builds with every riveting plot twist and illusion. Sleuth at the Ocala Civic Theater on stage January 8th to January 18th. Call the box office at 352-236-2274.
All right, 16 minutes after 10 o'clock. Matt Gibbs is here and answering your car questions, and you do have somebody waiting on hold. Good morning. Thank you for waiting. You're on with Matt now.
Good morning, Matt. This is Brad calling.
Good morning, Brad.
Okay, 09 Lincoln Town Car. We can run E85 in it. The question is, it's cheaper at the pump. You get as good a mileage? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Okay, so ask that question again.
The E85.
Okay.
Yes, that you get ethanol. I guess it is. Is that ethanol?
Yes.
Okay. Does it get worse mileage?
Typically, yes.
Okay.
And because your rate of consumption on the alcohol base is going to be a lot greater than the petroleum base.
Okay.
So you save a little bit of money in fuel, but you'll actually use a little bit more fuel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's kind of.
Now, I have another question.
Okay.
Over here on Route 200, there's a station over there that sells unleaded gasoline without alcohol in it.
Okay.
Ethanol-free gasoline. Will it hurt our car to run that in? And if we do run it in, will we get better mileage?
Now, you probably get a little bit better mileage running that, and no, it will not hurt it. Actually, it'll do the opposite. I prefer using alcohol-free fuel.
Okay.
Especially if it's like one of my customers that may be a snowbird. They live here part of the year and up north part of the year. Yes. I really try to get them to, when they're leaving to go back up north, get as much of that fuel out as they can and put, straight fuel in it without ethanol. They tend to be a lot cleaner as far as inside the engine goes.
All right. Well, that's a good answer. Thank you, Matt. Have a nice day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Do you know what I like? I like the idea that $20 will put my needle a lot closer to F than it used to.
Yes. I mean, for normal driving, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm an advocate for pure gas. I mean, I use whatever gas I can get.
But why
cheapest.
the Snowbirds? Why did you single them out?
Well, because their car sits up for, it may sit up for a couple months.
Oh, okay.
And I just like with all my lawn equipment, my weed eaters and edgers and lawnmowers, and I try to use non-ethanol gas in it. Because like right now, I got a half a tank and everything, and you're not going to be using stuff. So as soon as I find the time, I bring everything out, I crank it up, I dump the gas, I run it completely out of fuel, just to get the alcohol out.
When an additive says it will improve gas mileage, is that accurate, or do they not really tell us the truth?
Have you
ever? I mean, do some do it and some don't do it?
And some don't, and some,
What about mothballs? Do mothballs increase your mileage?
No, but they keep the moths away.
Have you ever heard that?
There was somebody called me up one day and said, "Hey, you need to go online. There's this pill you can put in your gas tank, and it'll get you like 8 miles to the gallon more fuel." And I'm like, "Really?" So you go online and you listen to this guy that is, he's in a white coat. He's very
right. He looks the part.
Smart. He looks smart.
Right.
But everything that's coming out of his mouth is just dumb as it can be.
To you, see, this is why we need to know somebody who knows, whether it's about cars or medicine or anything.
It's like, oh my gosh! I mean, really, you're gonna pop a pill in your, and this is what it's gonna do.
But it's easy enough to verify them. All you have to do is do it one time and then measure your gas mileage.
Yeah, if you want to buy it,
how much
give
is
it
the
to
pill?
Sonny, and Sonny will tell you.
How much is the pill?
I don't remember. I mean, I didn't got that far. And then I had a customer that bought a whole case. I cannot think. I'll bring it next week and I'll give you one.
What is it? I don't want one.
It's a magnet. Okay, that wraps around your fuel line.
Oh, I got a
fuel miser. I think it was what.
You have a call coming in. If we have time on today's show, I'm going to tell you my magnet story. Good morning. You're on the air with Matt.
Hey, I got a couple car questions for you.
Okay.
I've got a '94 Suburban, and it's got the 10-bolt rear in it.
Okay.
And I just recently picked up a semi-float 14-bolt for out of a '95 Z71.
Okay.
And while getting that out, we ended up breaking the brake line cable. The cable that's already on the car for the 10-bolt, are they the same from the 14 to the 10?
It should be.
Okay.
It should be.
Second question. Well, that'd save a whole lot of hassle. I don't want to be in there having all the parts out and then not be able to use it, put the brakes in there. The next question is when I seafoam my engines, I have a drip bottle with a little IV tube on it, and I'm dropping that into the brake line or the vacuum line from the brake booster.
Okay.
Is that the recommended way to do that, or people are just telling me it's the same if I run it through the gas tank or not? When I run it through the gas tank, I seem to get a little more. It's almost like adding octane to it, a little more power and this and that, but I'm not really sure if the engine's running better after that, whereas when you pour it straight into the exhaust or the vacuum line, or I'll drip it into the vacuum line, you get all the smoke and it seems like it's actually doing a better job. Do you have an opinion on that?
I absolutely do. I would much rather go through the vacuum line. I use, I don't use Seafoam. I have used Seafoam in the past. What I use is General Motors, probably in the mid-'90s, came out with a product called Top Engine Cleaner. Okay, it's non-flammable, but it's a very, very high detergent liquid. And what I do is I have a hose and I have a regulator, okay? And I'll put one end of the hose like into the booster supply line, and I have a regulator. It's on a long needle, and a regulator at the end of it, so that I can regulate how much vacuum is coming out the end of my little tube. And I actually put it right in a bottle, a top engine cleaner, and I'll get it up to about 1,200 RPM. Get the engine up to about 1,200 RPM while it's hot. You want the engine nice and hot, and at a steady 1,200 RPM. What I'll do then is I'll regulate how much liquid I want to suck into the motor, and I want it to start stumbling.
And dial it back.
Yeah, I want it. I want it just about to die, and then right at the end of that bottle, I open it up all the way till it stalls the engine, and I let it sit there. I try to let them sit there overnight. And just not. Oh, really? Yeah, just let it clean. And I kind of did a little experiment one day. I took an engine that I knew I was going to pull the heads off of. Okay, it had a valve issue, and I wanted to carbon blast. That's what we call it, carbon blasting the motor. I wanted to carbon blast it before we pull the heads off to actually see if this stuff does anything. So I went ahead and carbon blasted it. The next day, I told my guys, let's go ahead and snatch the heads off this thing. When we pulled the heads off that engine, I sent it to the machine shop. I sent the heads to the machine shop. He called me up and said, hey, these heads, have they just been off or something? He says, all the pre-chambers and all the backs of the valve, everything is so clean. And you told me this engine had like 200,000 miles on it. And I said, yep. And I told him what I had done. And he said, wow. He said, this really works well. So I try to do it a lot. And by doing it that way, when you pour it straight into the gas tank, there's nothing getting behind the valves. There's nothing getting into the intake. There's nothing there cleaning anything other than what's being sprayed through the injector on the top of the piston. Well, this gets it on top of the piston, behind the valves, down the valve stems, and the valve guide. It gets it in the intake system. It gets it everywhere. And so what you're doing by using the seafoam through the vacuum, you might want to do more than just a drip. You want to get that thing to where it starts stumbling and spitting and sputtering, and then choke it out with it and let it sit. That's one of the best things you can do.
I usually take it to the point of choke and then dial it, just turn it down just a little bit at that point. But I'm still sucking air because that tube that comes off. I mean, that's a 1/4 inch, 3/4 inch hole in there, and I literally am using IV tubing to drip that stuff in there, so I'm still getting a lot of air in. If I close it off, it just sucks it right out of the bottle and it won't stay running.
Right.
So when I drop that little tube in there, I mean, it's okay to leave the rest of that vacuum, just sucking air around that.
Oh yeah.
Tube,
yeah. The only thing with that is that you're actually causing it to run lean now. You're causing it to run hotter and run leaner. I try not to allow anything to go into the motor, air or fuel, that I don't want there to, I regulate it.
Do you close off the rest of the air line so it's not sucking air in around the drip?
Yeah, yep. Everything is tight. I have complete control over everything going in.
I guess the key is letting it sit overnight.
That works. That's the best. That stuff, like the product that GM came out with, was the top engine cleaner. It's non-flammable too. It's a non-flammable detergent, and you can take. I can take a head or take an engine apart and set it up on a bench and take some of this stuff and pour it on carbon, and it instantly dissolves it. It just turns it into liquid.
Really? Last question, same car, early 90s Suburban 350. I've got a real bad oil leak in the back, and I highly suspect it's the rear main oil seal. Those are is there any way that I can change that without dropping that block over there or dropping the crank itself?
Yeah, you don't drop the crank. You pull the transmission. If it's the rear main seal, those seals are pretty stout. I would, if on a small block Chevrolet, look on the back of the intake really, really good and make sure it's not leaking oil out of the back of the intake, or even around your distributor. There's a gasket on the bottom of the distributor. Just make sure it's not coming out of there.
So make sure the top and back are clean before I drop that pan.
Yeah, just make sure, just get down there with a mirror and a light and look, and just make sure and the oil pressure switch too is also on the back of the intake. Make sure it's not coming out of the oil pressure switch. Unplug it and make sure that the connector and the switch itself isn't all full of oil.
Hey, since you brought it up, the oil pressure on the dial is always reading like in the lowest notch possible, unless you're started after a couple of days and it's cooled off a lot. It'll show like 40 to 50 psi or oil pressure or whatever. But after it's been running for a couple of minutes, the needle almost drops all the way down to nothing.
Yeah, that may be your problem.
Say it again?
That may just be your problem. You may need to put a new oil pressure switch in there. We're done?
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're just about done. Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for the call. Wow, that was good talk. That was good shop talk, as they say, right?
Yeah.
That was good stuff. I'll have to tell you my magnet story another time.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Matt. What's your phone number?
My phone number is 352-690-1993.
All right. Well, we'll see you in 2015.
Yes, sir. See you next year.
We'll be right back. This is The Source, WOCA Ocala.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. Search teams scanning the Java Sea for a missing AirAsia jet have spotted oil and debris.
We don't really want to speculate until we find the aircraft. We know what went wrong.
AirAsia CEO Tony Fernandez, the pilot of the Airbus, reported bad weather. Asked to divert, that was not granted, and 5 minutes later the plane disappeared.
Fox Radio's Alistair Wanklin, 162 were on board, no Americans. President Obama has used his veto power just twice, but with Republicans gaining control of the Senate, he says that could change in the year ahead.
Now I suspect there are going to be some times where I've got to pull that pen out, and I'm going to defend gains that we've made in healthcare. I'm going to defend gains that we've made on environment and clean air and clean water.
The president interviewed on NPR. All the survivors, more than 400, have been taken off a ferry boat that caught fire in the Adriatic Sea, but 5 people died. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Do you run a small business? Do you want it to grow? Well, then don't let your business slow down or shut down because you lost your computer files. Get Carbonite and your files will be backed up to the cloud automatically. No matter how many computers, servers, or external drives you have, Carbonite has an affordable plan. Start a free trial today at Carbonite.com. No credit card required. Use offer code BACKITUP and get 2 free bonus months with purchase. Carbonite.com. Offer code BACKITUP.
How would you like to have customized professional business cards that give you the confidence you need for every new business opportunity without needing any design experience? With Vistaprint, you can, because Vistaprint makes it so simple for business owners and business dreamers to get the customized tools they need to help their business thrive. And right now, you can get 500 high-quality professional business cards for just $9.99. But hurry, this offer won't last long. Go to Vistaprint.com today and enter promo code 3366 at checkout. That's Vistaprint.com, promo code 3366.
One of the most common questions those nearing retirement are asking, will I outlive my money? Retirement questions like these and many more will be answered every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on Planning for a Better and Safer Retirement with hosts Francois and Julian Pozenet. Francois and Julian will help you put your retirement puzzle together. Catch Planning for a Better and Safer Retirement Saturdays at 9 a.m. on Ocala's News Talk, The Source 96.3 FM and 1370 AM.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
Scientists recommend we eat processed meats rarely, which means 1 serving or less per week of bacon, salami, sausage, or deli meat. Don't troll for dates late at night. It's the online dating equivalent of drunk texting somebody from a bar. When we interact with a friendly animal, our muscles instantly relax, That's because animals are passive, and they are never judging us.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Legally Yours, brought to you by Fuller & Fuller Attorneys at Law. On the air every Wednesday morning at 10:30 a.m. with John Fuller, a board-certified civil trial lawyer for over 25 years. John welcomes your questions, from business to complex family matters to legal disputes. So tune in every Wednesday morning at 10:30 a.m. for Legally Yours with John Fuller, right here on WOCA 1370 AM and 96.3 FM, The Source.
Gene Powell Pasture Mowing. Our tractor services include bush hog, disking, front end loader, box blade, and stump grinding. We also have zero-turn mowers for the smaller paddocks, aisleways, fence rows, and lawn care. Fence row spraying is also available for weed control. We are licensed and insured. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-62